Hello there, fellow people. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back for the What If series. For today's video, I'll be talking about one of the most greatest bands of all time, as would be the Beatles. What am I talking about them for? To be honest, I had so many ideas, so this one was in the pile, as I'll be talking about the Beatles book shows in Las Vegas in the year of 2000. 2000? Why the hell are you talking about it? Because you know that John Lennon is no longer with us, right? You are absolutely right. John is no longer with us, but at that time as well, in 2000, George is still alive. But what if the Beatles still alive to this day? And we all know Paul and Ringo still with us today, and still rocking and kicking. Yeah, so why not? Why don't we can talk about a what-if storyline if the Beatles reunited. That'll be for 2 future videos, or 1, or I'm not sure. But anyway, we're talking about in the year of 2000, where the Beatles book shows in Las Vegas, and the show will be called Sgt. Pepper. Wait a minute. Hold up. Why are you talking about Sgt. Pepper? You know that is one of their most conceptual albums. And of course, that was the introduction of conceptual albums, right? True. That is very true, though. Because we know that the conceptual album that we all know today, that is Dark Side of the Moon. But no, Sgt. Pepper was the introduction of conceptual albums. But first of all, is where did the idea came from? Well, I had a curiosity, and to be honest, they never done a full-fledged tour for Sgt. Pepper, because we already know the stories that somewhere in the mid-60s, they had enough of touring, so they decided to stay in the studios and record each record, what records they are in the mood for. But with a residency idea, it just came about. But what if they done it in their lifetimes? And of course, this is an alternated timeline where, of course, all 4 Beatles are alive and kicking. But there's plenty more what if stories to share in some point later in the year. But let's talk about this one. So I created a story like this. So for the very first time, I have to listen to the full album, Sgt. Pepper. However, did not listen to the album on digital or a CD. Only one reliable, and that is the original masters, the king, and I'm referring to the vinyl. To be honest, I'd absolutely love the album, and during my first listen, I got a sense of vision of how they look like, what the show's gonna look like, what the visuals are gonna be, and of course, it would be the year of 2000. That would be the infancy of residencies, as we all know today, thanks to Celine Dion and Elton John. So yeah, so got the set together, and here's the story of Sgt. Pepper live in Las Vegas. The story takes place in the year of 1997. The Beatles has reunited for over 25 plus years since their breakup back in 1970, and the fellas are in the middle of their reunion tour, aka Anthology Tour. They are on their 3rd leg of the tour, and second last stop will be held in Vegas. And the people behind of making Siegfried and Roy, they became interested in the ideal of launching a major artist residency in Vegas. After the show, the management of Siegfried and Roy approaches to the Beatles with the offer, and would they be interested to do a Vegas residency. The Beatles didn't answer immediately. They wanted to take their time and think about it. However, by March of 1998, 3 months after the tour, which the guys are taking a break besides of Paul, and because Paul McCartney is on his promotional tour for his, at that time, new album, Flaming Pie. Because he didn't have time to promote it due to his schedule of the Anthology Tour for the Beatles. So in the previous year of 97, he didn't even promote it. So months after the tour, so this would be August of 1998, the members of the band stated that they had a meeting and they were having a curiosity of what's going to be the future of the Beatles. Included ideas floating around for a new millennium will be on its horizon, as they'll be entering a new decade and a new century. So they were floating around a couple of gigs, albums, etc. Then George and Paul remembers there was an ideal for a Beatles doing gigs in Vegas. But very similarly what Elvis did 2 decades earlier. The Beatles reconnected with the management team behind of Siegfried and Roy, and discussions began for a possible Beatles residency in 1999. The plan was ambitious. They wanted the Beatles to become the first major residency act since Elvis to truly dominate the Vegas stage. And a ton of ideas were pitched, but somehow none of them felt right. Eventually, the 1999 residency project was abandoned. But 8 months later, in April of 1999, inspiration finally stuck in. The idea to build a residency is only for one particular album, and that'll be based on Sgt. Pepper. Everyone inside the Beatles camp, the band themselves, the management and production teams, immediately got to work on developing the concept, and they liked the idea. At this time, they decided to not rush the project. Since April of 1999, they've been developing the concept of the show, and then around July to August of 1999, they started to rehearse of the records in their catalog and the songs they haven't done in a long time. So they made a challenge of performing the entire album in a live setting. But they tried that, but they had to cut down 2 to 3 songs out of the original Sgt. Pepper show. So the songs they will be performing will be the later songs. So the later songs I'm referring to is they're going to be allowing songs to do is Rubber Soul era all the way through to Anthology, except for Yesterday. So if you want to hear the Love Me Do, Hard Day and Night, Help, and etc., those records are not going to be performed. It's going to be retired for a little while. So let the older songs, let it breathe for a bit. And of course we know Hey Jude is going to be in the set and all of that. But there's one big question, is that would they fit a 90-minute show? I think they would. But slowly but surely, the production came together. The staging, the visuals, and the setlist all started to falling into place. The band even became interested adding solo materials into the set. It would feel unique, you know? But coming ideas with all of that stuff, how? How are they going to pull it off? Well, they will pull it off. So now the next question is, where is going to be held at? Well, so the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper residency will be held at the Mirage. And of course, we know the Mirage venue because that's where the venue is going to be held, where in real life, the Beatles' Love Show is held at. So they had set for a fall of 2000. By 2000, it came around, the show is halfway in production. So the band decided to do a press conference at the Hilton Hotel, where Elvis does his residency there. So, during the new year and entered a new decade and century, on February 17th, 2000, the Beatles had set to announce they would be doing a residency to be titled Sgt. Pepper, The Beatles Live, without the public knowing the main opening night. And it will be on September 4th, and that means they have 200 days to go before opening night. Paul mentions the show will be debuted in the fall of 2000. A buzz from the press conference, older and newer fans taking their time to see the Beatles live in Vegas. They were hoping they would be performing at the Hilton Hotel, but out of respect of Elvis, they don't want to perform it there. Tickets went on sale for the Mirage, and of course, from June 11th, and they announced for 10 shows for the September run. Oh boy, they're all sold out super quickly. So they were panicking, and they were panicking about, oh my god, we don't have any more seats left for the fans. So they had an extra run if we missed out the first time. So the second run of tickets went on sale from July 16th, and of course, sold out very quickly too. And that second run will go around from late October to mid-November for extra 12 shows. Then, opening night came on September 4th, 2000, and will be the kickoff on the first Beatles ever Residency. So let's see what's going to be. So here's all the dates for the shows. So the first run is going all the way through to September. So go from September 4th, 7th, 8th, 12th, 15th, 17th, 20th, 21st, 24th, and 25th. Then the second run going from October 26th, 27th, 30th, November 1st, 2nd, 5th, 6th, 10th, 12th, 14th, 16th, and 17th. Now, to the set list, it's going to be pretty odd, and people are going to have their own different opinions about this. So if y'all like this set list idea, please let me know. And if you don't like it, that's my own opinion for it. Anyway, here's the set list. So we started off with the intro of Revolution 9, but the Revolution 9 will be cut down into like a 3 to 5 minute intro to let the band be introduced. So we kick off with Sgt. Pepper, then Drive My Car, with a little help from my friends, and then Let Me Roll It contains a coda of Foxy Lady. Then Paul introduced the show, and then we go with Jet, Ben on the Run, and then the Bird medley. So that will be Bluebird, Blackbird, and Free as a Bird. So that will be as an acoustic set. And then we go with Yesterday, Getting Better, and then we go with John Lennon doing his part, doing Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds and Imagine. And that's the first half of the show. Then we have an intermission break, then the second half comes in. The second half we have with George Harrison. He's going to do With You, Without You, Something, and then the band back together with Real Love, Lady Madonna, Eleanor Rigby, Get Back, Penny Lane, Paperback Writer, Hey Jude, and then we go to the encore, and the encore is going to be Let It Be, Sgt. Pepper Reprisal, The End, Now and Then, and A Day in the Life. After the show, fans were surprised of this conceptual concert, with the name included the later songs takes the spotlight. But would this be their final curtain call? To be honest, I don't think so. So, would there anything for the future of the Beatles in the 2000s? Well, who in the hell knows? Well, that is it for the What If series. Hope you all enjoy it. Comment, like, and subscribe. If y'all haven't subscribed to me yet, you will miss out any content I'll be putting out. So, hit the notification bell, take care of yourselves, and see y'all next time.